Meet Alex. Alex is 27, earns $58,000 a year, has $4,200 in his savings account, $34,000 in student loans, and a very confident opinion about cryptocurrency. Alex's retirement plan is figure it out later. His investment strategy is I'll start when I have more money. And his current relationship with compound interest can best be described as non-existent. Alex is not unusual. Alex is statistically the average American in his mid to late 20s. And Alex is making the single most expensive financial mistake of his entire life right now. Not because he's spending too much, not because he has student loans, because he is waiting. And that waiting, which feels completely rational from the inside, is going to cost him somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million by the time he retires. Not because he spent it, because he didn't invest it. Music, let's do the math that Alex has been successfully avoiding. $200 a month. That's it. The price of a slightly aggressive Uber Eats habit. Invested every month starting at age 22, earning the S&P 500's historical average return of roughly 10% per year. By age 65, that $200 a month is $1.3 million. The total amount Alex actually put in over those 43 years, $103,200. The compound growth on top of that, over $1.2 million. The market did 12 times more work than Alex did. All Alex had to do was start. Now let's say Alex waits, which is what Alex is currently planning to do. He'll start at 32 once the loans are paid off, once he's earning more, once things feel more stable. Same $200 a month, same 10% return, starting at 32 instead of 22. By age 65, $452,000, not $1.3 million, $452,000. The 10-year delay cost Alex $848,000. Those 10 years of waiting, 10 years of telling himself he'd start when things were better, cost more than everything he will invest for the rest of his life combined. This is the math of compounding. And the math of compounding means your 20s are not the least important years of your investing life. They are the most important. Every dollar invested at 22 has 43 years to grow. Every dollar invested at 32 has 33. That 10-year gap at 10% means Alex's 22-year-old dollar is worth 2.6 times his 32-year-old dollar by retirement. The same dollar. A different starting date, a completely different outcome. And here's the thing about the I'll start when I have more money logic that sounds so reasonable in your 20s. More money always comes with more expenses. The lifestyle calibrates to the income. The reason to wait always exists. There is never a moment where someone wakes up and thinks, yes, now is the time. Everything is stable, I have money left over, and nothing to spend it on, let me invest. That moment does not come, you have to manufacture it. By automating a contribution before the lifestyle has a chance to absorb the money. The decision has to happen before the money arrives. Alex has been telling himself he'll start investing for 4 years. In those 4 years, he missed $10,400 in contributions and roughly $20,600 in compound growth. He doesn't feel it yet. He will. Music now meets Sarah. Sarah is 34, earns $95,000, bought a house 3 years ago, has 2 kids, a mortgage, daycare payments she describes as borderline criminal, and a retirement account she hasn't opened the app for in 8 months. Sarah is doing everything right by the standard social script. Good job, house, family, responsible adult. She should feel financially secure. She doesn't. And the reason is the single biggest financial mistake of your 30s. She optimized for the house instead of her net worth. Here is the specific way this plays out. In your 30s, income is growing. Life is getting more expensive simultaneously, faster in most cases than the income growth. And the biggest single financial decision most people make in their 30s is buying a house, which is often the right call. But the way most people execute it is financially damaging in ways that don't become visible for a decade. They buy at the maximum they can afford. The bank says you can borrow $550,000. So they look at houses at $540,000 because why not? The bank approved it. The monthly payment fits in the budget. The neighborhood is great. And then the budget gets stress tested by reality. The roof needs replacing $18,000. The HVAC fails $8,000. Property taxes went up. Insurance went up. And somewhere in all of this, the retirement contribution got paused temporarily. 3 years ago, the mistake of the 30s is not buying a house. It is treating the maximum mortgage approval as the target rather than the ceiling. And the compounding effect is that every dollar that went into the down payment and the mortgage payment is a dollar that did not go into an investment account during the decade when compound growth is generating its most powerful returns. $50,000 invested at 35 becomes approximately $349,000 at 65 at a 7% return. $50, 0 used as a down payment on a house you could afford but probably didn't need at that price. Generates returns that depend entirely on the housing market. Comes with 5 to 6% transaction costs when you sell and produces significantly more financial stress in the meantime. The people who build real wealth in their 30s are the ones who buy less house than they can technically afford and redirect the difference into investment accounts. Not because they don't want a nice house, because they understand that the decision they make at 34 about how much house to buy determines whether they have options at 54. And the second part of the 30s mistake, pausing retirement contributions for temporary reasons. The daycare payment, the mortgage, the car, each pause feels temporary. The data says that once a retirement contribution is paused, the average time before it is restarted is over 2 years. 2 years in your mid-30s, at the exact moment when compound growth has its longest remaining runway, is not a small pause. It is one of the most expensive decisions the year contains. Music, and then there is David. David is 44, earns $145,000 a year, drives a car that costs $100 a month, lives in a house that costs $4,200 a month, takes 2 international holidays a year, and has a retirement account with $180,000 in it, $145,000 income. $180,000 saved for retirement at 44. He has been earning above average money for over 15 years, and the number is $180,000. The math says David needs somewhere between $1.5 and $2 million to retire comfortably. He has $180,000, not because he didn't earn enough, because every time his income went up, his lifestyle went up with it. And the lifestyle is now so embedded, so normalized, so expected by everyone around him, including himself, that reducing it feels like failure rather than strategy. This is the biggest mistake of your 40s, not the bad investment, not the missed contribution in a single year. The lifestyle that crept up incrementally over 15 years until it consumed almost everything the income growth it produced, and then calcified, became the baseline. Lifestyle inflation is most damaging in the 40s for a specific reason. In your 20s, the stakes are modest, and time fixes a lot of errors. In your 30s, there is still a meaningful runway to recover. In your 40s, the math gets specific. Retirement is 20 to 25 years away. The number you need is calculable. And for most people in their 40s, when they actually run that calculation for the first time, which is usually the first time they have ever run it, the gap between where they are and where they need to be is significantly larger than they expected. The specific fix for the 40s is brutal. Most financial planners say the savings rate target in your 40s should be 20 to 25% of gross income going toward retirement to compensate for a slow start. Not 5%, not 10%, 20 to 25%. For David on $145,000, that is $29,000 to $36,000 per year, against a current lifestyle that was built assuming he would save roughly half that. That gap has to close, not comfortably, not gradually over 10 years. Now, because the same power of compounding that would have made $200 a month at 22 into $1. $3 million is now making every year of delayed catch-up contributions significantly more expensive. Music, so let me put all three together. Your 20s mistake is waiting. The fix is automation. Started today, however small the amount feels, your 30s mistake is buying the maximum house and pausing contributions. The fix is buying less house than you can technically afford and never pausing the automation. Your 40s mistake is a calcified lifestyle that consumed every raise for 15 years. The fix is a 20 to 25% savings rate target. Now, regardless of what the lifestyle adjustment feels like, none of these fixes are comfortable. All of them are simple. And the discomfort of doing them now is a fraction of the discomfort of arriving at 65 and finding out that the math you avoided running for 20 years has been running on its own the entire time. The most expensive financial mistakes are almost never dramatic. They are not a bad investment or a market crash or a single catastrophic decision. They are the small, rational feeling, completely understandable choices that compound quietly against you for decades. The waiting, the maximum mortgage, the lifestyle that never got interrupted. Alex, Sarah, David. 3 different decades, 3 different mistakes, one common thread. They all knew what they should have done. And they all had completely reasonable explanations for why right now wasn't quite the right time. The right time was always right now. So here is where I want to hear from you. Which decade are you in, and which of these 3 mistakes do you think is the hardest one to actually avoid? Drop it in the comments because I think the answer is completely different depending on where you are right now. And if you're watching this in your 20s, do me a favor and send this to Alex. He really needs to see it.